we have a lot of questions about time management, productivity, and efficiency. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can increase your efficiency. And John came up this last night. He said, you know, what we really need is a way to increase our stress-free, with a stress-free way to tackle those tough projects at work and at home. This is not only a business class about project management, it is also a personal class about project management. I'm Allyson Lewis. I'm going to be your host today. I'm with the 7 Minute Life. I created the company back in '06, and we look at time management. Now, this cracks me up. When I Googled project management, and the Association for Project Management is a great thing, but I was reading this illustration, and I was kind of like not sure, you know, how it would all go and work. Hang on one second. I'm making sure that I am plugged in. And I should be, give me just a second. Well, John, do you know what it's like to have your technology not want to work? Just a second. Well, okay. John, I have never, ever had my technology not work. All right, we're going to go to plan B. Let's see if we can do this. It won't be quite as pretty. There we go. All right, so one of the things that you know what? I want you to understand that when we look at this project management, this comes from the Association of Project Management. When I read this definition, I have a hard time understanding what it is. I'm just going to read this and then we'll kind of go on. Project management is an application of processes, methods, knowledge, skills, and experience to achieve the project objectives. That is really important, that every project has to have an objective, a goal, an aim. This is a general definition. A project is a unique endeavor. It's a one-of-a-kind endeavor, but you may repeat it over and over. And it has objectives. It's to achieve a planned objective, which could be defined in terms of output and benefits. Now, what I think about project management, how does efficiency come into that? I'm going to define efficiency for you, and this is where I began to struggle, and I think why other people struggle. If you go to the dictionary and you put in define efficiency, the number one definition is that it's a state or quality of being efficient. And I look at that and think, well, that's not really helpful. So many of the things that we have are circular definitions. In other words, when I define efficiency, it says, well, just be more efficient. We're going to try to help you answer the questions, how do you become more efficient, and how do you put that into your daily life? So let's start. We will be giving out the slides for these slide decks. Everything that we do will be posted within 48 hours, but I really would like you to take notes. The problem that I ran into when I was creating this is what we define as efficiency. It's a state or quality of being efficient. It goes on to say, in order to be efficient, there has to be an outcome. It has to be, and this is really important, you have to, in order to be efficient, you have to be capable of producing a desired effect. Therefore, efficiency does not begin with being efficient. It begins with understanding the desired effect. What is the goal? What is the target? What is the aim? I then went, when I'm looking at definitions, to a thesaurus. I went back to the Latin meanings. I went back to the Greek meanings. And rather than having a circular definition, efficiency, when you go back and look where it came from, has several definitions. It means making something, producing something, creating immediate effect, being active, effective, accomplishing something, being productive, and being skilled. I want you to think through that. What difference would it make if you could be really efficient if you weren't making something? If you were doing nothing, it wouldn't matter how quickly you were able to do it. When you're efficient, you're producing something, but we want to be efficient by producing that product or that activity by using the least amount of resources with the least amount of waste in the most appropriate amount of time. Efficiency probably comes from the same word as effect. I mean, obviously they're similar. You want to make an effect on something. During the day, we want to be efficient so that we can get things done and have it take place. You have to be effective, you have to be active, you have to accomplish, you have to produce, and you have to be skilled. The sad thing about efficiency is that when you are efficient, it is going to all come back to the fact that you are working. Working is the key to efficiency. It is working on the right things, working with the right allocations, working with the budget, working with the best people on your team, having a plan of action. Everything about efficiency is going to eventually go back to the fact that we have to work more efficiently. And that's when I had an aha moment. I really was shocked to realize that time management, doing things quickly, productivity, doing them just really quickly, being productive, and efficiency are meaningless. Let me say that I'm a time management company. We help people get more done. People come to us because their time management skills are poor. They want to be more productive. They want to be more efficient, but all of that is meaningless. And I didn't even understand that we were teaching the wrong thing. I'm a time management expert. It is meaningless. That's crazy to me. So what is meaningful? What is the solution to efficiency? I think, and these are not in any order, I think in order to be efficient, you have to know what actions you need to take. What action are you going to take that's going to make you efficient? How will you use your time to work on that task? We only have 24 hours in the day. To be efficient, we try to use our best assets, our best resources, using the least amount of waste, accomplishing the thing. So what are you going to allocate your time toward? What tasks are you going to work on? What sequence do you need to work on those tasks to be efficient? Who's responsible for that task? Who's responsible for making the project more efficient? What's the deadline? How can you know you're efficient unless you come in under budget and more quickly than you said you would? I'd like you to star this one. If you're going to be efficient, are you committed to starting and completing the task? Part of the problem with efficiency, whether it's at home or in work, is that we're depending on other people to get projects and tasks finished before we can move on. But in order to be efficient in our own lives, we have to make commitments to understand the starting point of a project, and then the next thing is a finishing point. A goal is, if you looked at the Olympics and you watched the marathon, there was a starting line and there was a finishing line. There's a beginning and an end to every project. And efficiency is what happens in between the beginning and the end. Is it going to take you this long to get something done because you don't have clear objectives, you don't know who should be doing the work, you don't have sequences? Or are you going to create repeatable processes and systems so that you can accomplish all these tasks in an efficient amount of time? But it doesn't matter how efficient you are if you have a starting point, but you don't know what the ending point is. Let me say that again. Every project, every task has a starting point and an ending point. Project management has to do with getting your team. It may take this long to create a project when you have no clarity, when you can't see it, when you don't know who's supposed to work on things, when you haven't created a sequence, you don't even know what's going to happen, so you let the fire drills come in. This is where we are right now for most of us. This is where we want to take you. We want to create repeatable processes. But a project that is efficient has a starting point and an ending point. This is what creates and drives the efficiency. Is it going to take you this long, or is it going to take you this long? But in business and in life, the biggest problem we have is that we don't know when we're finished. We start a project, we work on it. If we don't know where we're going, it makes it meaningless. The task is meaningless. Everything about what we do leads us nowhere. And when we're going nowhere, we have less fulfillment, less hope, less engagement in our work. That's why efficiency is what we think we want. We think we want to do things more quickly. What we want efficiency to mean, what we want this to be, is getting us to an endpoint where work matters, where life matters, where we feel like we've accomplished something. And John, I hope you're encouraging people to chat so that they can ask questions when we get to the question and answer. I want to know, have you ever thought about the fact that efficiency has to have a starting point and ending point? We titled this The Stress-Free Way to Tackle Tough Projects at Work and at Home. What difference does it make if we're efficient if we don't know what the ending point, if we don't go anywhere? The stress that we feel is overwhelming. Think about a project that you have at work. You work on a team, your team lead comes to you and they say to you, let's start on this. We want to increase market share by 2%. Well, that's a great thing as a goal. It's a goal with no project, with no scope. We don't know who's responsible. We don't know when it's supposed to happen. We've not been clarified as to what steps it's going to take to go from point A to point B to point Z. All we've been told is here's the starting point. We want to increase market share. We want to increase it by 2%, but we don't know if it's going to take this long, and we don't know if it's going to take this long. And in fact, for most of us, our role in that, yes, the overall goal is to create market share by 2%, but we can't do that by ourselves. So on our own scale, we have no idea of when we accomplish that project, when we're efficient as part of a team. So, efficiency is not doing something more quickly, which is, I think, what I realized. Rather, it's using knowledge and skill. Now, let's stop there for just a minute. You become more efficient when you understand, you have a depth of knowledge, and you've increased the skills. It is the knowledge, the understanding of your underlying business. If you're a busy mom, it's the understanding of how your time needs to be spent. And I think knowledge, I read books all the time. What do you need to know to be more efficient? What skills do you need to improve? It's that learning curve that fills us with excitement, I think. It's learning something new. Now, I'm going to come back to the physical efficiency to try to explain this. I use golf as an example almost all the time. I don't play golf, but I know it's something that we understand. If you want to become more efficient or more proficient, which again probably comes from a similar term, to become better at playing golf, then you have to have first the knowledge. You have to understand what a golf club is, what a golf course is. But having the knowledge of that is just the first step. The second step in order to become more efficient is that you need the skill. And in business, think about this. We have so many projects that we're constantly doing project. We never have the time to become knowledgeable about the point of the project. We don't have time to develop skill sets like, I need to really understand how this spreadsheet works. As a mom, I really need to know how I plan my meals out. I need to know how all of these things, and because we're jumping from project to project to project, we don't develop the skill sets that we need to accomplish those things. Go back to golf. Great. You understand you want to play golf. You don't have the skill sets, so you take lessons. You go in and you take that first lesson. I'm sorry, my technology is not working, so I'm doing this with my mouse. You take that very first lesson and you learn how to grip the club, and you may learn how to hold your feet. At the end of that first lesson, you still don't have any skills. All you have is a beginning of knowledge. Your efficiency in golf will not improve until you've played golf for like a year. You got to hang out with people that are great golfers. You got to watch golf. You got to take the lessons. You've got to get out there and practice. The same is true in business, or if you're a mom and busy. Well, and I was a working mom, so both in business and in life. Think about that for a second. If you want to get better and more efficient, you have to increase your knowledge of what you're working on. You have to increase your skill sets. Now, I make no bones about the fact that I believe the training that we're doing, this free training, is increasing skill sets on productivity and time management. But if you're in whatever sense you are, there's going to come a place where you're going to want more knowledge. So we are teaching classes. We are teaching paid training. And I hope at the end of this, you're going to say to yourself, these free webinars are amazing, but I want a deeper dive. I want to work through the tools, just like a golf lesson. I don't want to just read about it. I want to go through the projects. I want to learn how to fill out the forms to create projects. I want to learn how to create things and projects that I'll use. That's what we do in our longer classes. We've got 3 classes coming up at the end of this week. I want you to understand that knowledge, which is what we give on these free webinars, is really important. But the execution of improving your efficiency comes from the skill sets of learning how to play. If you want to play golf, you got to practice for a year. And then you can be frustrated for the next year, and then you play for another year, and then you realize you got to go back and take some lessons. So I think all of that is important. So efficiency is not doing something more quickly. Rather, it's using knowledge and skill sets to accomplish an important task. We're just fill our lives with fire drills, with things that are low value. In order to be efficient and re-engage in your work, you have to focus on important tasks. And then really think through this. Efficiency is reached when you have completed the desired effect with the most impact, using the least amount of time, money, and resources. The thing that strikes me the most is when we have completed the desired effect. Look at your life right now. I'm 56 years old. I look at efficiency as being great. I can be fast at things, but have I stepped back? Have I created the knowledge and the skill sets to create a desired effect for my customers? For those of you on this call, my desired effect today is that you begin to understand why efficiency is important and why having no plan of action causes stress that is overwhelming. The desired effect I have today is to make your life less stressful, to create these skill sets. So we don't want to just leave you hanging. I think that's what a lot of other trainers do, is they say, here's all the things you need. Come buy our products and we're going to solve it. But a lot of times when you buy other people's products, all they do is they tell you, okay, here are more of the things that you need to do. Here are the blank forms. Now you go out and figure out how to use our blank tools. Today we're going to tell you about those blank tools, and we're going to show you some of the things that are going to change everything. But if you're new to the 7-minute life, all that we teach, everything that we do comes down to these 3 circles. I would like you to write them down, even if you've done it before. I'd like you to make 4 circles on a piece of paper. And then the first one, I want you to write the number 24. And then the second, 1,440. In the third one, 1%. And in the last circle, 7 minutes. The how always will begin with action. I would like you to draw 4 circles and put in them 24, 1,440, 1%, and 7 minutes. Efficiency can only happen within a framework. You may want to take notes as we talk about that. We try to be efficient by getting more done inside of a framework that can't change. Every day, you have 24 hours, period. That is a hard set framework. If you want to be a more efficient, you can't change the framework of 24 hours. Efficiency has to do with time, resources of budgets, time, allocations, people. The one thing that you can't change is the framework. You can change the amount of time, the deadline. You can change how many people you're going to put on the project. You can allocate more money to the project, but you cannot change the fact that you only have 24 hours in a day. This is a hard stop. You cannot change that. And when we try to change that, when we try to get more done than we can, we hear this all the time. I've got too much to do. I'm overwhelmed. I don't even know where to start. It's because we have this framework of 24 hours a day. And when you end up trying to get more done, I'm not sure why that is going. When you try to get more done than what you have, this is what develops the stress. And when you can't get everything done, the very first thing that gets kicked out of your life is sleep. The very first thing, lack of sleep, because you're trying to get more done. And since you can't get it all done in 8, 10, 12 hours, you begin to work from 10 to 11 to 12 to 1 o'clock in the morning. You lose sleep. And the crazy thing is that reduces your productivity and efficiency. So if this is the hard construct, they're 24 hours in a day. This is how many minutes you have. The ease and the simplicity of what we do at the 7-Minute Life is we're going to challenge you to take 1% of your day. That's 14 minutes. We want you to take 1% of your day to decide and to plan. Let me see if I can do this with my mouse. To decide and plan what you want to be efficient accomplishing. Literally, I want you to set a timer, to take your smartphone and to say, set timer for 7 minutes. 7 minutes is a lot longer, but until you decide, you make a decision of what action you're going to take, every other action doesn't matter. If you can start the day with a plan of action and say, by the end of the day, I want to be here, then you can start and finish, and you can go home saying, I've done enough. The problem with projects, let's go back to increase market share by 2%. This is how the human brain works. Your direct report, or you or the direct report, says, here's where we are today, December 31st, it's January 1st, December 31st, we want to increase market share by 2%. The human brain functions in a way that we want to do all of this in one day. It swirls through our head and says, I've got to increase market share, I've got to increase market share. Or if you're in sales, I was a financial advisor for 30 years. And let's say that my production was at 400,000 and that 5 years from now, I wanted to get over 1 million. My entire psyche said, let's be efficient. Let's do that in one day. No kidding. That's how we are. We have a goal. We wonder why. Why can't I get it all done? And so instead of working through a logical process from project to project to project, we want to do it all today. We have stress and we don't realize. If you would take 1% of your time, that leaves you with 99% of your time to execute the project and to have a life, to spend time with your family. So I want to encourage you to take 7 minutes in the evening to set goals for tomorrow, to be realistic, to plan things out. That's what we're going to be talking about in our class. We're going to offer one on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm going to show you same class, but at different times. What do you think about in the 7 minutes in the evening? And what do you think about in the 7 minutes in the morning? When was the last time you took even 2 minutes to create something more than a to-do list? Efficiency requires understanding what you're going to take action on, how you're going to sequence it, when you're going to do it, looking at the time it's going to take. So let's start looking at a a realistic project that you want to be efficient. This is what it looks like when you have a long-term scale project. Here's where we're going to be today, and here's where we want to be in the future. That's fake. If this is 12 months out, obviously you can't go from January 1st to December 31st without a plan. This is where efficiency comes in. Remember, this is the piece. Start, finish. The efficiency happens in the middle. This is what we're going to be teaching you today. We're going to be talking about this line, which is the efficiency. How much time? How much effort? How many people? What kind of resources? Budget? Skills? What do you need? Efficiency happens in between the starting and the ending point. We believe it will never be from point A to point B. We believe that projects, goals, life, whatever it is, starts with point A and ends at point Z. And where efficiency happens, where this line occurs, is by moving from project to project to project to project. One day at a time, knowing exactly what you need to do today and exactly what you need to do tomorrow, and planning out, taking 7 minutes in the evening and 7 minutes in the morning to know what you need to do with a realistic understanding of the framework that's going to, over time, move you from here to here. Same thing. We're going through here to here. This is the efficiency. You'll never be able to be efficient unless you know the end result, unless you've clarified and understood where you are. How many resources do I have? How many people do I need? This is where I am today. Do I have the budget to do it? Do I have the skills to do it? If not, we've got to develop those things because we need to move from A to Z. Part of the problem is we don't even know what Z is. Let's move on. Today, instead of talking about market share, we're going to talk about Christmas. Christmas is 60 days or less away. When we started looking at project management, I don't care if you're a man, a woman, a teenager, an 80-year-old person, or an 88-year-old person like my dad, 82 for my mom. Christmas is going to happen. And it's going to happen in 60 days, exactly 60 days, I think, because today is the 25th. It may be 61 days. But here's where we are today. It is October 25th. We're going to go to November 25th and then December 25th. It is going to happen. And in time management, I love telling people, it's October 25th. December 25th is coming, whether we plan for it or not. You're going to blink your eyes and it's going to be December 25th. And December 25th does not care if you've planned for it or if you wake up and it's December 24th and you're trying to get everything done. But let's look at a project going from point A to point Z using the example of Christmas, that this right here, this Z is Christmas. And we want to wake up with less stress. So what do you have to do? You have to look at where you are today. Efficiency begins with a starting point. You have to look and say, okay, who am I going to buy the gifts for? How much budget do I have? When do I need to get the Christmas cards out? And so what do you do today? Let's look at this. This is typically what we would see. And I hope this is helpful if you're taking notes. If the end result, the aim, the desired effect is to have Christmas planned with less stress, and all of you out there know what it's like to have a stressful planning session for Christmas, then a lot of people will step back. They'll make a to-do list that says, okay, I want to get out my Christmas cards. I know I have special activities, children's school plays, dinner parties, whatever it is that you need to plan for, but you need to get those on the calendar. I know I need to decorate my house. I got to get the tree. I got to pull out all the lights. I got to trim the hedges. I love that John said that. I've got to trim the hedges so I can put the lights on the hedges. I've got to get all those things for the light bulbs that are broken. I have to shop for the gifts. I have to shop for the food. I have to plan out the food. I need to create a budget. And if I'm traveling or people coming in, we got to get all that organized. Well, that doesn't sound so bad. You know, I can get those things done. Christmas with less stress, I've only got 7 things to do. I've got 60 days to do that in. That's not true. I asked John this morning to create a project mind map, and I want to look at this. It is definitely not this simple. Christmas has lots of tangents that go out everywhere, and this is why it's overwhelming. It's like going down a rabbit hole. Once you realize you have to decorate or shop for all the gifts, then what happens? Let's just take a little look at this. Here's our end result, our objective. It's 60 days away. We put these things on our list, which is the first step. We put, okay, we want to set a budget. We want to do the cards. We want to use the gifts. We want to decorate. We want to create the travel plan. So those are kind of the key things that we looked at. But what about, okay, I got to get the house cleaned. I need to get the carpets cleaned. I've got to go out and get if people are staying with me, I've got to get the rooms ready. We've said that we have to create lists. Well, in order to accomplish it, we've got to know what we're going to get people. We have to shop and hide the gifts. As a kid, I was always trying to find them. We've got to order them online. We've got to wrap them. We don't just have to get the gifts. We also need to remember our teachers, our Sunday school teachers, the people that help us. What about the Christmas card list? You got to get the addresses. You got to take the time to get the stamps. You got to send them out. You got to put them all together. You got to pick them out. What about the budgets? Who are you going to make contributions to? Are you going to make special gifts at the end of the year? What are you going to buy? What kind of widgets? I love all kinds of widgets. And then it comes to food. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Who's going to bring what? Have I planned the meals? Have I even shopped for the food? Have I put things ahead of time in the fridge? Do you see where we're going with this? Is that this is only a starting point. It's a project management. This is an A to B. There is no way to be efficient with a list, a to-do list. That is not at all helpful. And that's where we get hung up, whether it's planning for your annual budget or planning for Christmas or planning a family vacation. We create this overarching to-do list that we can't be efficient on because we haven't created a starting and an ending point. So what we have to do is kind of like cleaning out a closet, which probably is on a lot of your project lists. And how long has it been on there? How long have you said, I'm going to clean out my closet? The reason that you haven't cleaned out your closet is that that's an end goal. You haven't created the A to B, the B to C. And when you clean out the closet, you don't have to do it all in one day. The brain says, if I say clean out the closet, then I have to do it right now. That is not true. There is no way when you look at this list as a Christmas and you go, okay, oh my, this is not a project. This is a mind map of the project. I hope this is helpful. I want each of you, and I use whiteboards. John uses whiteboards. I want you to think of what projects you want to have, because Christmas isn't the only thing that's coming up. You've got a new year. You do have garages to clean out. You've got closets to clean out. You've got family vacations. You've got school starting again and in the future. You've got furniture that needs to be given away, clothes that need to be given away, annual budgets, reporting projects. You've got to create marketing projects. You've got to work on human resources. Whatever it is, each one of these are overarching projects. So this is where I think it gets really exciting. I've realized that, yes, I can plan for Christmas. And if I really plan it properly, I can create some kind of tool that up here where it says project management, I can write down Christmas right here. Here's my project description, Christmas. And after I've planned all these things out, where I've put budget here, and I put gifts here, and travel here, and food here, this is actually a goal. Christmas is the goal. It's the overarching piece. If that's true, that goal, this is a goal, then these actually are projects. Each one of these are the projects that need planning for. So where do we start? We have a goal that is Christmas. And all of these worksheets are on our website. We'll be including them. We're going to create a web page that you can go to that's going to have the webinar. It's going to have all these tools, all of the worksheets. It's going to have the handout, the slide deck. So I want you to think through this with me. You start with a goal. The goal leads to individual projects. The projects are probably going to start with, what's my budget? Christmas cards, food, travel. Those become the projects. So the mind map begins with the 50,000 foot view. This is more of the A to B. And that's where people stop. They say, okay, I've planned it out. I've created my budget. I've got my cards thought about, the food, the travel. This is not efficiency. You can't be efficient by labeling a project. All you have is a label. When are you going to create the budget? Are you going to do it today, tomorrow? What's the outcome of the budget? Are you going to have it in a format in Excel? That's the project. You've written down, okay, I'm going to do Christmas cards. That's the starting point, but when are you going to get them out? How many? How much is it going to cost? When are you going to get the addresses? When are you going to get the stamps? I think you can see that we have to have the A to Z, and then these things become the A, the B, the C, and then we begin to use this. This is brand new. It is a project management worksheet. So let's just start with Christmas cards. We're going to just start with Christmas cards, and we're going to say, okay, that's the project. The goal was Christmas. The projects were budgeting, food, travel, Christmas cards, gifts. We're going to just take one project that has a starting point and ending point. If you don't want to send your cards out on Valentine's Day, then you need a project management. So what's the first thing that you do? The first thing that you do is you brainstorm in no order at all. You just say, okay, well, I need the cards. I need the stamps. I need the addresses. I need to even know a budget of how much I'm going to spend on Christmas cards. I need to set a time when I'm going to sit down with my family, because I don't need to do all of this. So I need to set a time. What day are we going to do it? Can we sit in front of Christmas carols and make it fun and see how many? If you have 50 that you want to send out, why not give every person in your family 10? Let's make this a doable project. When you set the time, are you really going to commit to it? If you say, okay, Saturday, whatever, November 2nd or whatever day that is, I'm going to do this, are you going to have that time set? Will you have bought the cards prior to that? Will you have the stamps prior to that date? Will you have created and updated your address list? And obviously the budget probably has to come first. So you've just brainstormed all of these projects, and then you have to likely sequence them. So if you now come back and you sequence them, the number one thing may be that you need to create a budget. We don't think about how much money it costs to send these things out. The second thing is probably setting the timetable. Is when you set a date, you can get to finished. The third thing may be buy the cards, buy the stamps, get the addresses, and make sure that you have things. Now here's where project management comes in. Oh, and then you got to go to the post office and mail them. So here's where project management helps. You've taken 7 minutes. It wouldn't take you even 7 minutes to say, okay, here are the things I need. Well, guess what? You put this in a file. The next year, you don't have to recreate this. You pull this out, and you can do this in a matter of minutes. When you begin to create repeatable processes, the first time through seems like drudgery. But imagine next Christmas, when you pull out this list, how efficient will you be? That's where efficiency comes from. That's what makes me excited about the 7-minute life. We all have goals. We know we want to go from A to B. We want to create the 2017 marketing budget. We want to set a time to clean out our closet. We want to plan for Christmas. The first time to become efficient, it is pretty tough. The second time, it is really easy. Really, really easy. But there's still a problem. In my first book, The 7-Minute Difference, I talked about the 1 yard line. And this is a problem for for me probably more than anything else. I'm great at planning. I'm great at making lists. I'm great at sequencing what I need to do. The problem is I'm not great at taking the action. How many of you have said, I am going to be efficient this year, and you map it all out? The problem is we're not ready to work. Efficiency will always come back to the work you do, how much time you allocate to work. We have interruptions every 3 minutes. We have distractions all around us. All of those things stop our efficiency. But the biggest problem is we never finish. Let me use this as an illustration. It's football season right now. I love football, but how many times have you seen a team catch a ball in their own end zone, the offense, and they run all the way and they get all the way here to the 1 yard line? They are 36 inches away from scoring. They have a first down, and on the first down, the defense stops them. On the second down, the defense stops them. On the third down, the defense stops them. I'm like, dude, just lean forward to score. And they don't score. They're 36 inches away. They have to back up, and they settle for a field goal. Think about that in your own life. Project management. You plan out the project. You have everything written down. You set the time. You allocate the resources. The problem is you start on this project in your own end zone. And you start moving towards it. You get to the 50-yard line, and a fire drill comes in, and all of a sudden this project that was so important has been stopped cold because there's something new and urgent that you now have been told to do. So planning Christmas, something urgent happens. And all of a sudden now you don't show up for the day to do the Christmas cards. You don't go buy them. You don't get anything done. So what happens is we get every project halfway through, and then all of a sudden we start a new project. We get that a quarter of the way through. We start a new project, a new project, a new project. So not only are we not getting this project done, but we feel that when we get here and now Christmas comes, remember it's 60 days away, Christmas will be here, whether we plan for it or not, whether we get the food done, the budget's done, the cards done. Here's what's going to happen. It's 60 days away. It's going to get to where it's 5 days away. And because you haven't done what you said you were going to do, the stress and failure that we feel when we don't have efficiency is overwhelming. I can create all the plans in the world. I can sit down, make a project for my Christmas cards, for cleaning up my closets, for doing all of those things. But if I make it to the 1 yard line and don't get it done, it's a failure. Remember, efficiency is knowing the starting point and knowing the ending point. Part of the problem is once we've set that, no matter how big, we want to finish it today. What we have to do is then break down that big goal, even Christmas, to one thing. Okay, I'm going to create, just going back here, I'm going to create all the projects I need to create to accomplish Christmas. It's going to obviously include food or include Christmas cards. I'm going to take each project and I'm going to break it down into several projects. So you're going to have one sheet that is for Christmas cards. And then you're going to have another sheet that's for food and another sheet that's for budgets. And you're going to come back to this and you're going to have to make a commitment because efficiency does not happen without work. And it is never accomplished until it is finished. I think this is important. I think not being efficient, not having good time management robs us of life. And we start and stop and start and stop, and we disengage because at some point when we've started a project and not finished it, all of a sudden we have another project that we haven't finished and another project that we haven't finished. And we say to ourselves, I don't have enough time. I'm overwhelmed. I have too much to do. And it's because we haven't planned things out and we've let one project bump out another. And then something new and novel comes in, it boxes out another. And the key to this is, it's not about being efficient. It's about disengaging with life. One of the things I hope I can share on almost every class I teach, all of you that watch this, I hope you'll send out the link to the page to other people that will watch it. This is important because when I did not get everything done, when I didn't complete, when I didn't fall that extra 36 inches, when I didn't feel like I was doing things properly, I was overwhelmed, I had too much to do, I all of a sudden began to label that as I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Obviously, everyone else can get those things done. And I went into a downward spiral of anxiety, stress, and depression. Depression is something I want to be really open about. I believe one of my purposes in life is to teach and share, but to also be really frank about mental health awareness. To tell people that those of you that are on this call, and there are a lot of you, 1 in 4 of you are either suffering from depression right this minute, feeling trapped and stuck in life, or you will be. 1 in 4 of the general population will suffer from depression. That's why this is important. It's not just about efficiency. It's about regaining the absolute understanding of what's important in your life, which comes back to this page. What are your goals and how much time do you have to accomplish the projects? How many goals can you create? Can you get the cards out? Can you do the food? Can you do the travel? Can you plan everything? Does your budget allow it? If you can't get the Christmas cards out, so what? Mark them off your list. Be realistic about what's most important. I would love to get a Christmas card from you, but if it's going to cause you stress and anxiety where you can't enjoy your family, your friends, the spiritual faith of the newborn Christ, then maybe the Christmas cards are not that important. So here's a recap. There are interruptions every 3 minutes. We started today by defining efficiency, which is why we've had so much trouble, is because efficiency is a circular definition. When you look it up in the dictionary, it says it's a state or quality of being efficient. No, efficiency is being capable of producing a desired effect. When you accomplish something, it breaks through those feelings of being trapped and stuck. It gives us confidence. It gives us excitement and energy. It's the desired effect, seeing it, focusing on things that are important and accomplishing them, and finding meaning and fulfillment in our work, especially at Christmas, making it special for our families, including them. We also talked about the solutions. Efficiency does not occur without clarity, but it certainly does not occur without action, without knowing how to use your resources, what tasks you need to focus on, when you need to do them, who's responsible, what is the deadline? Are you committed to getting past the 1 yard line? But efficiency is backward looking. You will never know if you were efficient until you have finished a task. Only until you've moved from the 1 yard line into finished. Efficiency is only seen backward looking. You can't say, hey, I want to be efficient on this. You can only complete the project, look back and say, yes or no, was I efficient? If not, before you start the same project over again, create an efficiency template where you can just check mark through it over and over again. Time management, productivity, and efficiency are meaningless. They are backward looking. We only know we've had good time management if we get to the end and we say, hey, I used my time properly. Productivity is meaningless unless I can look at what I've accomplished and go backwards and say, yes, I was productive. Efficiency is meaningless. All of these things are backward looking. All 3 of these things are a measurement or a judgment of what has happened in the past. And guess what? We can't live in the past. Yes, we've done things poorly. We haven't had good time management. We haven't had productivity. We haven't had efficiency. Why? because we haven't had the knowledge, the skill sets, and the repeatable processes. I think that's what makes us different. I want to challenge you today to look at efficiency not as something backward looking, but as an opportunity to take projects and look at them in a forward looking. Not to use efficiency as a measurement, but to think about efficiency with excitement and clarity and saying, I can be efficient by having a goal, by creating an indecision, a target, an aim. It's those things that bring us life. They break us through being trapped. Where does it start? It starts with repeatable processes. That's what I do. I not only want to create the knowledge, I don't only want to develop the skills, I just don't want to make you reinvent everything. So we've created the goals worksheets. We've created the project worksheets. We've broken down where you can take an individual project and brainstorm, where you can just write things down, just kind of almost top of mind. Oh yeah, I need to do this, 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 and this. But then you can come back and say, I need to do this first, this second, this third, this fourth. And I need to complete it by this date. And either I'm responsible for it or not. And when you look at this within the construct, right now, Christmas is 60 days away. You work full time, you have kids, you have all these things going on. When you look at this project, you can come back in and decide, what is my end goal on Christmas Day? What is my aim? Is it to get everything perfect? Is it to have the perfect meal? Or 60 days from today is my aim to wake up with family memories that matter? We get to either choose or prune at that point. I'm Allyson Lewis. These are the things I do. I want to share with you just a couple of other things that I believe are going to be life-altering for us. If you go to our website and you click on training events, this has been an incredibly powerful class, but I don't believe that we can do those things once. I think that we have to do them over and over again. We are planning to have free webinars every Tuesday. The one on the 11th was on living in alignment with your priorities. The next one was, again, a further exploration of priorities. Today's free webinar was on project management and efficiency. But we're a business. And so at some point, we're going to begin to sell classes to help you. And we feel really good about that. We want you to dive deeper. And these payments are not big, $97, but I want you to make a decision. There's a line in the sand. Either you're going to listen to these classes or you're going to begin to take action. These classes are how you take action. They're $97. A lot of the things that we do are during the day. Let me see if I can blow this up. Yeah, I can. We've created 3 time slots for how to improve your time management, not just learning about it, but actually filling out those worksheets. The first thing that we're going to do is on Thursday, October 27th. We're doing an evening class. It's from 6:30 to 9 with 30 minutes of question and answers afterwards. It's 3 hours for $97, like $33 an hour. This one is in the evening. We have a lot of requests for things to be in the evening. All that you have to do, go up to our events calendar, come down here and say, yeah, that class looks good to me. I'm going to double click on it. It's going to load. You're going to see the details. This class is October 27th. It's from 6:30 to 9. It costs $97. It's to help people with ADD, with their business skills, with productivity, and with time management. The venue is online. I'm going to be teaching it. If you have questions, you can call our office. You can send us information. These are the things that you're going to learn. And when you're ready to register, you just click register now, $97. You'll be taken to an online piece, and it's going to be ID number 102716. So you'll know it's on the 27th. So what are the other classes that we have this week? They're all 3 the same class. You don't want to do it in the evening. We also have one the next day on Friday, October 28th from 3 to 5:30, followed by 30 minutes of questions and answers. Same thing, if you want to go to the 3 o'clock class, you click on this. The page itself is going to load, the registration page, as we give it just a moment. You can see, yes, this one is October 28th. It's going to be from this time to this time, and you click and you register on this class. We've talked about efficiency today. We've tried to show you some of the things, but how different would it be if we didn't just show you, but in a 3-hour period of time, you actually filled these things out? And we're going to be talking about time management, how to use the tools. We've even created a class on Saturday. A lot of people are really busy. Would Saturday be a better day? Same class, $97 from 10:30 to 1 o'clock with 30 minutes of training afterwards. What are you going to do? What's going to make you more efficient? You'll be able to come back over and over again to this training events. This is just what we have through the end of October. We're going to teach free webinars on Tuesday. We're going to follow those with weekly classes, live classes. This is a 3-hour class, $97. We're going to have 6-hour classes. Those are going to be more expensive. We're going to have full day classes. These are the things that are going to change your life. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to change my glasses, and I'm going to open it up now. The class is finished, but I'm going to open it up now to questions and answers. I'm going to have to scooch this a little closer. John, if there have been questions, I would love for you to repeat those so that I can come back in. If those of you that have questions that you'd like to ask, I'm going to stay a total of 30 minutes. If there are questions that you'd like to ask, I would be happy to answer those. John, can you point me in the right direction by copying and pasting? There are times that I really feel like the question and answer is just as important as the class itself. I'm going to let people have time. We have a really large class still on the line. I believe this is really, really important. I do hope that people will sign up for the classes. John just said, yes, hang on just a sec. I am grabbing the questions. I could not do this without John Arnold. He teaches a lot of the Tuesday classes. We'd love to have you tell us what classes you want. We'd love you to tell your friends. This is a growing business. If you need a speaker, if you need a coach, I do personal coaching for $400 an hour. It's $750 for a team up to 10. We speak all over the country. That's what I was doing in Phoenix. In order for us to grow as a business, we need you to become our advocates. Okay, grabbing questions. Can you speak to Angela's concern? I just have to figure out how to keep the unexpected but important interruptions from derailing me from the schedule. Yes, let me come back and share my screen. This is primarily, we'll be talking about this on Friday. Great question. You would come into the time management tools, and you're going to want to look at the daily progress report. I'm just going to click download, and it's going to automatically open for me. I'm going to blow this up a bit. Once you've planned out all these projects, it's going to be really more important to take those projects and to bring them down into a day where you can decide. I'm not sure if you can see this. Every one of these days is printed off. Now you can do this free, 7 days at a time, or I have a planner here. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I think I can show you better by doing this. Our planners are 90 days. So let's say that you've created your project and you've said, okay, on today, October 25th, I need to accomplish some of these A to B to B to C. You're going to take those projects and you're going to break them down into what we call our 5 before 11. A project is different than a micro action. A micro action, we'll be talking about this in the class, is something you can do in 20 minutes or less. What most people do is they wake up and they put these things on a to-do list. Typically, it'd be something like this. Complete Christmas cards. Well, I think you know now that you can't create and complete your Christmas cards in a day. That's a project, not a micro action. But what you could do today on your 5 before 11 is you can go to the post office and get the stamps. You can set the date for it. So our 5 before 11, the reason it's important for interruptions, what if you just said, here are 5 things that I can do before 11 o'clock. I'm going to commit to them. They're going to be important. Whether personal or business, they're going to move me forward. Great. Those 24-hour constraints that we have, we try to get 10 to 12 things done. We can't. So what if you just said, I'm going to get 5 things done? Because we're aware of the fact that interruptions are going to happen. We know that already. If I can accomplish just 5 things, that during the 7 minutes in the evening and 7 minutes in the morning, I've written out my plan for the day. I've created a written plan of action that says, here's what I'm going to do. Here are the unfinished tasks, even down to the fact that I'm going to drink the water. I'm going to get the sleep. I'm going to exercise. What if you just accomplish 5 things, knowing that they're going to be interruptions, so you don't overestimate how many things you can get done and underestimate your time? People say, really, 5 things? Map that out for a week. If you were to accomplish 5 high-value activities in 7 days, yes, you take 35 steps forward. These platforms are on 90-day platforms. If you were just to get 5 things done, knowing full well that you're going to be interrupted, 5 things in 90 days, you'd accomplish 450 tasks. The problem is we walk in and we just respond to low-value tasks. We read our emails. We don't have a plan. We don't even know what the project is, much less. So this is the whole key. This is what separated the 7-minute life, is when you plan out and you pull out the project worksheet and you look at the 1 or 2 things that you're going to get done. The project worksheet is still pretty big. You break that down into things you can do in 20 minutes or less, and all of a sudden now, because it's 20 minutes or less, you begin to check these things off. And the goal is that you want to get to a place where you can say, did I do what I said I would do today? It's not just the start and finish of something that's going to take a year. It's the start and finish of today. Did I do that? All right, so I hope that was helpful. Let me go back to where we are. Angela. Okay, we're going back. John, I'm not sure. Any questions? No, not yet. Great. John, just pop your question in here. Will this be a tool we have access to? Absolutely. We're going to put it on the page. All of these tools will be on a web page where you can download them. It's really simple to use. Not only can you download them, but we hope you'll send this page to hundreds of people. Put it on your Facebook page. Tweet it out. They can watch this webinar, spend an hour of their time. So every tool, this page is downloadable. Everything, the project management, the individual tools, yes, all of those things will be put in there. That would be me. Okay, grab a link right now. You'll still get the follow-up email. Amen, Angela. Okay, and Angela, big key for that is scheduling. What gets scheduled gets done. Until there is a date and a time on a calendar, it is floating in good intention. I'm just going to continue. How do you set realistic time allotments, including margins for the unexpected? Well, that's a great question. This page has just been created. This is the old one. Let me just pull this up. Let's see, where is it? 1 second, this is going to blow your mind. This is brand new. I'm constantly creating new things. Let's see if I can find it. Daily planner or progress. Let me just put that progress. What we have created, and I just did this last week, is this. I have created a free tool that actually is going to have an advertisement on it, because we, again, can't send everything out. That's going to have the 7-minute life events in there. But check this out. The second page is what we call a 15-minute increment worksheet. Let's see if I can make that so you can see the whole thing. Minus, minus, minus. When I create a project and I write down my 5 before 11, I then have to put them on a 15-minute increment timesheet. This is exactly what we're going to be doing on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. This is the tool we're primarily going to be talking about. We overestimate what we think we can do. And I know you can't really see this, but what time are you going to get up? What's pre-scripted on your calendar already? In other words, how many meetings do you have? Let's say, do you have a meeting from 10 to 11? Well, that's not just going to take an hour. That's what's blocked on your calendar, but it's going to take you 15 minutes to go to the restroom, to grab your stuff, then walk to the meeting. And after you attend the meeting, even though you said you're going to get back to work at 11, you're going to have a conversation with somebody. You're going to be interrupted, maybe with good news, and you're probably not going to sit down at your desk until 11:30. So what you have scheduled on your calendar to take from 10 to 11 is really going to take from 9:45 to 11:30. We overestimate what we can get done. After you've scripted that time, you can then take your to-do list, and I hope you can still see me, that says, okay, I need to run to the post office and get the stamps. You'll be able to block that in here. But odds are you won't have everything blocked in. This is the single tool that we're going to be talking about on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of how to manage your time, what to put on your 5 before 11, how to track it, and then how to actually manage your time. Let me just give you an example. I'm going to stop sharing my screen again. I hope was I sharing my screen on that, John? I hope I was. Maybe not. If I wasn't, let me share my screen again. Was I sharing my screen on that, John? Hopefully. But this is the tool that we'll be going over on Friday. Let me just give you an example. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I use this every day. So this is how I've used it today. Prep for webinar. John and I get online about an hour and a half early. Project management webinar, question and answer, which is where we are today. John and I have an Infusionsoft coaching. We do a lot of coaching. And then, I'll take that off. And then I have a coaching class, and then I'm in Bible study fellowship. And then after Bible study fellowship, I will come home. So this is actually what my day looks like. And all of a sudden you look at a day like this and you think, oh my goodness, when am I going to eat? When am I going to read my emails? When am I going to go run errands? When am I going to get my food? When am I going to exercise? When am I going to sleep? So I knew today by filling out this, that my day basically was already taken. So when interruptions come in, it's interesting. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. That's my 5 before 11. They're all valuable. Hope that's helpful. That's what we're going to be talking about. I agree. I just have to figure out the unexpected but important interruptions. And there are going to be interruptions. John says that. Tino, when creating your to-do list, always take a few minutes to put in estimate time next to each item. That's what we've just done. A couple of things will happen if you do that. First, you may readily recognize when your plan is completely unrealistic. Second, you will get more and more accurate about estimating the time you need. If you start tracking whether or not a task took as long as you thought. Absolutely, John. Another helpful habit is to work with a timer. Focus on only one task at a time when the timer is running. Most interruptions can wait, but we habitually reflects to them. John, this is really good. To Darby, I am going to just send the project management worksheet out with the replay. I thought I would grab it quickly, but he didn't have time. Thanks, John. Thanks, John. Well, that said, he just figured it out. Great, he sent it out. Yes, hang on just a second. He's grabbing questions. All right. Well, the courses on Thursday, Friday, Saturday be recorded for those who cannot attend live. Yes. Each class, when you pay $97, will be recorded like this, but you can watch through it and actually take part in it. So you will have all the specific things. You'll have all the secrets, all of those things. Yes. You still have to sign up, pay the $97, and then go live. I will say that if you sign up, all of the classes going forward, you will have a discount coming to you. So those people that participate in a class are going to be able to participate in the future at a 20% discount, because we want people to learn. First class, you have to pay first full price. Second class, third class, fourth class, everything is 20% off. Education, skill sets, and knowledge are really important to me. Angela, if you work out of the office, this article from our blog may help. By the way, everyone, here's a link to our events page. Great. At Allyson. This is from Angela. I am realizing that I really must shift my perspective from all or nothing to baby steps towards the goal. Absolutely. From A to B, B to C, C to D. And it's okay that it doesn't mean you failed. Great point. From Sharon. How do I catch up on the period of underperformance due to depression? You know, that's something that I've had to really struggle with. A lot of the things, what a great question. I've had to just cut loose. I really have had to have hard conversations. I cannot go back and reclaim that time. I have to start fresh. And in order to do that, I then have to look back and say, okay, here are the deadlines I missed. What's really important? What's urgent? What do I need to get done? And I begin to unravel those things. Just a quick example. If your email is out of control, don't try to clean it all out. Clean out today's email and yesterday's. Just do 2 days. We cannot put too much on us. If I try to do more than I can, my depression even gets worse. So that's something I think, John, if you'll write that down, I think that would be a great class to have on depression and time management. We've done some of that, but there are some things that I think we could talk about during that. Thank you for your question. Angela, one nice thing about mapping out the steps is that you can choose to work on it in a few minutes, just a few of these things, and intentionally schedule the others for later. This relieves a tremendous amount of stress. Got it. John, no, I'm not sure what you're asking. Can we see it now? Oh, we can see it now. Okay, so I've reshared it. John, can you post your comments to everyone? I think that'd be great. John, I actually work from home and am the mother, oh, this is from Angela, and mother of 3 and a full-time caregiver for my mother who has dementia, and I'm sure the blog will still be helpful. This is from Kathy. Will this class be repeated in the future? Yes. I can't make any of the dates this week. Thanks, Allyson. This is really helpful. Saw you at ASU a few years ago. Thanks, Kathy. Yes, it will be repeated. It's hard for us because we have so many classes that people want and we have limited time. Allyson, to use the 15-minute increment, yes. I don't think I shared my screen. Let me go back. We have just created this new tool. Instead of the daily progress report as it was, this will eventually be on our homepage where you can download it absolutely free. It's the same 5 before 11, but instead, and we do have an ad, we need to make this company profitable. We make no bones about it. We're really turning a corner. We're right at that tipping point where things are taking off. People are so excited about what we're doing. The only way they can do it, they can hear about it, but they've got to learn how to create the skill set. So we put this event, and I've changed it so that the 15-minute increment worksheet is the second page. So you'll have the ability to download 7 of these at a time to take you through a week. And at some point, people are going to get tired of downloading them a week at a time. And that's when I think they're going to end up buying the daily planner, which has all of these things in it. So we're really excited about being able to offer that to you for free. All right, John, can you post your comments to everyone? Actually work from home. Okay, we've done that. We've done that. Depression. Allyson, please copy the chat as well. I'm not receiving everyone's chat. You're getting many questions as well. Let's see if I'm able to get, good gracious, we've had a lot of people on here. I think that's it. I'm not sure how to see the questions that have been directed to me. Let me see. I'm saving the chat. So that's chat is saved. John, on the, oh, there are questions. I'm sorry. I'm seeing this now. Is there a replay of this webinar? Yes. Hi, thank you so much. I think for the first time I've realized why I'm so desperate and tired. I'm sure I'm one of the depressed that you were talking about. Thanks for clarifying. Will the courses on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday be recorded? Yes. How to bounce back from being discouraged and underestimating the time. We'll be teaching that on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Can you flip through the spiral calendar and show what it looks like? Is the paper thick or similar to other spiral calendars? It is not really thick. So whoever the anonymous person is, I would love it if you would contact us, contact me at info@the7minutelife. John, if you can put that in one more time. That's something that we want to continue to improve for you. How do you best handle email? That's not going to be a good answer. I actually have someone else that reads my email and deletes them so that I'm only required to see them. I think email is the biggest problem we have. I'd love to have a conversation around that if people have ideas. Another anonymous: I am a consultant and bill by the quarter hour. Besides helping me manage my time, can you also tell me how to truly track so that I can bill time efficiently? If I don't write down the time worked on a particular client, I can't bill them. Yes, whoever that is, that's something we do really well. Just send me an email at info@the7minutelife.com. Do you use the 15-minute increment every day? Yes. The very first thing I do is I look at my calendar. Let me just pull that up. The very first thing I do in my 7 minutes at night is I look at my calendar, because all of these things are pre-scripted. Now, I work out from here to here. My training is actually only from 11 to 11:30, but I have to drive there. I have to do my pre-cardio. And then one of my team members comes in here. I teach a class on Monday nights. I think by doing this every day, looking at my calendar this week, can you see how little free time I have? You know, we think that these meetings are going to only take a small amount of a small amount of time, but I've only got 3 hours to get everything else done. So this 15-minute increment tracking, and then I try to protect some days where I can just do the work. So all of these things, when you use this, you can see how little time you have every day. And I think that's really helpful. I might not have been sharing my screen. I'm sorry about that. As we share the screen, when you're looking at these 15 minutes, yes, I do this every day. This is what I was talking about, to go from training, which is only from 11 to 11:30. Most people might put training 11 to 11:30 at the gym. I actually have to leave at 9:45. I have to get my cardio in before 11 o'clock, and then I have to drive back home. That's not from 11 to 11:30. It's from 9:45 until like 12:15. Here I have 2.5 hours yesterday. Today, by doing the 15-minute increment, I only have 3 hours, and this does not include any time for email, for eating lunch, for going to the bathroom, for picking up groceries, to making the bed, cleaning the house. That's why it's so hard. If I can only get 5 things done today, I would say, great job, Allyson. So I try to protect time at least one day a week where I don't have other things to do. And so you can see the calendar. By looking at this, these are the things that are pre-scripted in my day. Hard stops. I have a coaching call. I have a request for proposal to do a big project. I have classes on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those are pre-scripted blocks of time that I cannot use to do anything else. The only time I have time to be efficient are in these blocks. And if you were to pull up your Outlook calendar, I think it makes it much more realistic. But by writing it down on my 15-minute increment sheet, I have an opportunity to really pay attention. So I hope that helps. How do you track long-term and reoccurring projects? That's a whole nother piece that is done, and this is not part of this class, but the long-term projects are, I keep everything in one book. If you've been on the class with us before, you'll see all of my planners. All of my planners going back about 10 years. And so everything that I work on is in one safe location. That's why we've sold tens of thousands of these. But where I track long-term projects is in the book under unfinished tasks at home and also unfinished tasks at work. Let me pull that up, unfinished task at work. So once a quarter, John and I will sit down and we'll create our unfinished tasks at work. And we actually do it on a whiteboard. And then we realize, yes, there are a lot of little tasks we have to do, but what are the 3 big projects that we want to do? We narrowed down that scope. And then I hate to say that I have another piece, but I take those projects and then I transfer them into my book. So when I have a project, it's in the projects book, and then I slowly move them into my planner. So every piece of this has a step, and something we haven't talked about today is that everything that we do in life moves through our values. And this is another class we teach. And so these are 10 values that are very important to me. And when I'm working on a project, even if it's something that I don't necessarily want to do, I have to realize that even the things that I don't necessarily want to do need to filter through the priorities that are most important to me. And at the end of the day, like this class, holding this class and sharing these ideas have everything to do with my priority that is sharing and teaching. That is something really, really important to me. I think I'm making a difference in people's lives by sharing ideas on creativity, giving them real tools, not just saying, here's what you need to do, but here's how you need to do it. And at the end of the day, when I look at this and I say, hey, I have filtered my time through what's important to me, then my life becomes all the more meaningful. These are the kind of classes that we teach one at a time. So we've got 5 more minutes left. The class will be, do you use the 15 increment every day? Yes. Time management and depression would be great. John, if you'll write that down, we need to schedule that. I have copied that. The use of a Christmas goal project is so real world. Thank you. Examples for a retirement life, the at-home spouse, etc., actually is helpful as the professional work examples. That's really helpful. Kevin, thanks again for the high quality training you provide. It's great, appreciated by all followers. Thanks. I do this, I do like the voicemail thank you notes section in the second page of the planner. Is it possible? Yes, it will be possible to keep those and have the calendar from top to bottom. Yes, it will be. How do you find something in a planner from several years ago? It's not part of an electronic database. No, but I write things down. We do have an app that is out right now. It's getting better and better every day, so you'd be able to search for that. But because I write things down, I kind of have an understanding of where it is on a page. And so I can actually go back and just look at specific parts of pages, and I have a much better chance. But if there's anything important, I was a financial advisor for years. I wrote down every conversation, everything that I had, and I've used those over and over again. So I have a pretty easy time of saying, okay, it was between these 2 years, and I can flip through and see it. So that's that. Evelyn says, sorry, I just missed the last 10 minutes with phone calls in the office. Is there a way to see the video? Yes, I will save the chat again. I'm not sure exactly how I do that, but John, I will save the chat again. I think, gosh, we have had a lot of people still hang on. It looks like there's another question. Angela says, I have an older planner. Is the 15-minute increment page available online? Yes, it is. And please, no, ask any questions. We've covered an awful lot of information. So yes, it is available. One of the things that I need from you, if you're still on the line, is I'd love to have a master class with 10 or 12 of you that would really spend some time with me and say, here are the gaps, here's what I'm learning, here's what I love about it. If you're willing to do that, if you'll just either put it in chat that you're willing to have a class like that to help us. These things are really important, but you're asking questions that we need to answer. So if you're willing to do that, just put your name in chat saying, yeah, I'd love to be part of a street team. I'd like to help create these new pieces. We have 2.5 minutes left. We're getting people to say that, wow, I love all these people. I would love all these. Thank you. All right, well, I'm going to just let this run for 1 more minute if you'd like to help with that. And I know several people have had to drop off because the question and answer has ended. We'll make sure, John, that is on the page that we send out, if you can maybe do that. Angela, I'm so glad you're here. I see you a lot, and it's been really fun. Evelyn, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and end the conversation. You can always reach us at info@the7minuteLife. This has been awesome. I appreciate you. Hopefully y'all sign up for the classes. Contact us if you have someone that you know needs a speaker or a coach. We want to really spread this message, and we're so glad you're here. Come back over and over again to the events page. You'll continue to see the classes that we're teaching. I can't tell you how much it means to me. So thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and close my video, but I will let the chance if you want to go ahead and add your comments in. Thanks. It has been amazing, and I hope to see you on the classes or next Tuesday on our free webinar. I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.